Greetings at Cheating Story Lab. My spouse was arranging the Thanksgiving layout when they inquired if it was acceptable to invite their gym acquaintance, as he would be solitary for the occasion. I glanced away from the turkey I was preparing and replied, yes. What I neglected to express was that I had previously encountered his spouse along with their trio of children 3 days prior, rewind 6 weeks. October exhibited peculiarity. Fiona, my wife of 9 years, unexpectedly became fixated on fitness. She'd rise at 5 in the morning for gym workouts, return home invigorated and distant, then engage evenings on her phone with a smile I hadn't observed aimed at me in months. Upon questioning about their day, they'd refer to the gym group, these remarkable individuals who were aiding them to transform their life. One name cropped up frequently, Brendan. Brendan expressed thoughts on diet. Brendan suggested workouts. Brendan recommended restaurants. 14 times within a week, she carelessly mentioned it, and as a data analyst, I started recording each occurrence in my mind. A pattern emerged that indicated danger, with the initial solid evidence appearing on a Tuesday morning. Fiona left her phone on the bathroom counter while showering, which was unusual for her, and a text illuminated the screen. "I can't stop thinking about yesterday, you're amazing," sent by Brendan. I didn't interact with her phone. I knew what I would discover if I checked it. Instead, I began documenting the evidence. I established a separate cloud account and started taking screenshots of our bank statements. Her gym check-ins from the shared tablet app, her car mileage compared to the actual distance to the gym, everything that narrated a story without invading her privacy in ways that could incriminate me later. After 3 days, I employed Wesley Cunningham, a private investigator recommended by a colleague following their divorce. In his mid-50s, meticulous and not prone to empty promises, Wesley pledged facts, not melodrama. He assured me that he'd deliver within 2 weeks, and if there were any discoveries to be made, he would unearth them. 9 days later, a call came from Wesley at my workplace, his voice cautiously neutral. He requested that I visit his downtown office after 6 o'clock. That evening in his compact office, he presented evidence like a seasoned prosecutor. The reports indicated that Fiona and Brendan entered a hotel on 3 distinct occasions. Time-stamped restaurant receipts contradicted her claims of working late on certain nights. Text message records, acquired through unspecified means, revealed 4 months' worth of conversations. And lastly, he showed me another photograph. The image depicted Brendan with his arm around a woman who wasn't Fiona at what appeared to be a soccer game. A group of 3 children in matching jerseys surrounded them, all smiles. Gabrielle, Wesley clarified, is his wife, married for 12 years. Their eldest child recently turned 11. Professionally, he deals in commercial real estate while she works part-time as a nurse. From observation, it appears she's unaware of the situation. I spent considerable time scrutinizing the photograph. The children appeared content, and their mother radiated happiness. Brendan bore little resemblance to the man I'd seen in hotel photos with my wife, where he seemed impassioned and reckless. Conversely, he looked like a suburban father enjoying his son's game. Wesley inquired about our course of action. "What's your plan for this?" I pondered over it for 3 days. I could either privately confront Fiona, file for divorce, divide everything equally, and move on, or I could make sure everyone understood the truth about the situation. The idea struck me on a Friday night when Fiona mentioned Brendan would be alone for Thanksgiving due to his family's complex circumstances. She spoke of it with such practiced compassion that I almost thought she believed it herself. That weekend, I located Gabrielle on social media. Her posts were filled with children's activities, nursing shifts, family meals, and the latest one was about planning Thanksgiving, expressing sadness that Brendan wouldn't be there due to a work trip. Indeed, I established a temporary email address and sent her a straightforward message. "Your husband isn't truly going on a work trip for Thanksgiving. I have evidence of his actual location. If you desire the truth, I am prepared to disclose it. No deception, no conditions, merely the truth," she replied within 40 minutes. "Who are you?" I sent her 3 pictures of Wesley. They showed a hotel, a restaurant, my wife kissing her husband in a parking garage, and another email arrived an hour later. "Reveal everything to me." We met at a coffee shop in an area neither of us usually visited. Gabrielle appeared worn out, as if she had been crying but managed to pull herself together through sheer determination. Her 11-year-old daughter's eyes were a bright green, currently rimmed with red. She inquired about the duration before seating, to which he replied, 4 months with solid evidence. He added, "It might have been even longer." Upon hearing this, she nodded decisively. Previously, he had claimed he was going to Chicago for a client meeting over Thanksgiving, and she believed him since he had done it before. She also agreed that her friend from the gym could join them for the holiday meal. However, unbeknownst to her, she didn't know about his affair. Gabrielle altered her expression from sorrowful to more resolute. "What's your plan?" I inquired. "I'm thinking Thanksgiving dinner at my place can accommodate 20 guests comfortably," I explained. "My parents, siblings, cousins, and other relatives are expected, traditional with a strong emphasis on family values." She comprehended swiftly. "You want me there. I desire the truth to be revealed there," I clarified. "It's up to you how to utilize that chance, but I'd like to propose an invitation for you and your kids to our Thanksgiving feast as our guests," she whispered. "There's nothing ominous about that." Later, she said, "He'd be shocked." After another hour of conversation, I shared with her everything Wesley had gathered, not for confrontation, but for her to have the truth. She captured images of it all with her phone, her hands trembling slightly yet determination in her gaze. As we were about to leave, she asked, "Why are you doing this? You could easily divorce her discreetly." I replied, "Those children in your photos deserve more than what he's showing them about marriage." She called me 2 days later. "We'll be there, all four of us. And honestly, so should we," she added. A week before Thanksgiving, I maintained a composed demeanor. I assisted Fiona with the menu planning, ordered the turkey, and discussed seating arrangements. Upon bringing up Brendan once more, I suggested, "Go ahead, invite him as well. That's typically when everyone shows up." I neglected to disclose that I had also extended invitations to 4 extra guests. Fiona spent the morning of Thanksgiving in a frenzy of eager apprehension. She flipped through outfits thrice, dedicated an hour to her cosmetics, and constantly checked her phone. She assumed she was meticulously preparing to display her boyfriend to her unaware spouse amidst a crowd capable of offering alibis for their relationship. Unbeknownst to her, she was merely readying herself for the ultimate presentation, a fact she had yet to realize. My parents arrived at 1:30, followed by my sister Candace and her husband, along with their 2 children. Fiona's brother Owen arrived at 1:45. By 2:10 p.m., Gabrielle texted, indicating that 15 individuals were either arriving or settling down, with some aiding in final food preparations. At the doorbell's ring, I personally answered it. Standing on my porch was Gabrielle, accompanied by 3 children huddled around her 2 boys and a girl aged 11, 8, and 6, all sharing Brendan's dark hair and striking features. "Everyone," I announced in the house, "these are our new acquaintances, Gabrielle, Troy, Spencer, and little Mackenzie, who will be joining us today." Fiona emerged from the kitchen, her hostess' smile evident. "Ah, delightful, welcome in," she exclaimed. "We haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet," Gabrielle responded politely. "Thank you so much for your hospitality. I've arranged the seating carefully." Fiona had reserved the middle of our long dining table for myself, Brendan, and her family. Me, my parents, and her brother on either side. Instead, I subtly repositioned items. The central area now accommodated me, Fiona, an unoccupied chair for Brendan, and Gabrielle along with her 3 children. For the following 20 minutes, people continued to socialize in the living room. Gabrielle showed remarkable calmness, engaging my mother in discussions about nursing while allowing her kids to play with my nephew and nieces. Fiona frequently glanced at her phone, becoming increasingly anxious. At 2:35, the doorbell rang once more, and I was the first to arrive. Through the window, I could see Brendan on the porch holding a bottle of wine and flowers in an expensive sweater that emitted business meeting. He wasn't aware of which family he was actually visiting. Upon opening the door, I greeted him. "Brendan, please come in." His smile was practiced and self-assured. "Thank you for the invitation. I hope I'm not disturbing anything." "Not at all," I said as I took the wine and flowers before leading him to the living room where everyone had assembled. Fiona entered the kitchen doorway with a radiant smile. She was heading towards him when Brendan's gaze fell upon Gabrielle standing near the fireplace with their 6-year-old daughter. Gabrielle didn't seem upset or tearful. Instead, she fixed Brendan with an intensely recognizing stare. "Gaby," Brendan stammered, his voice cracking. "I see you decided to join us for Thanksgiving. How thoughtful of you," she replied calmly. The room fell silent as my mother paused mid-sentence with my sister. Owen, Fiona's brother, looked back and forth between Brendan and Gabrielle with growing perplexity. Fiona was the first to speak up. "I don't understand, Brendan. Who is this woman?" "She's my wife," Gabrielle stated simply. "And these are our children, Troy, Spencer, Mackenzie. Say hello to your father." The eldest boy, Troy, looked ill. "Son, what's the commotion here?" Brendan's complexion shifted from pale shock to flushed anger as he turned to face me. "What is this outrageous thing?" he demanded. It's Thanksgiving dinner, I replied calmly. You told my wife you would be alone for the holiday, which was a falsehood. Gabrielle mentioned you were supposed to be in Chicago on business, another fabrication, so I thought it unnecessary for anyone to be alone on Thanksgiving. Instead, let's gather everyone together. You. Brendan began charging towards me, but my brother-in-law Marcus, a towering 6'3" former college linebacker, stepped between us with composed deliberation. Perhaps we should avoid this, Marcus suggested softly. Fiona finally found her voice. This is absurd, Brendan. What are you talking about? Who are these people? I explained. You know full well who they are, just as you know exactly who Brendan means to you. Shall I explain it for everyone else, or would you prefer? My mother made a soft sound. Trevor, what's taking place? I retrieved my phone and displayed the folder I had prepared. Wesley's photographs, bank records detailing hotel expenses, and restaurant bills from nights Fiona claimed to work late, along with my phone, revealed her affair with Gabrielle's husband for months. I didn't share the phone with others. Instead, I merely displayed it. It was a span of months, I announced. That's how long my wife has been unfaithful with Gabrielle's husband. They first met at the gym. She told me he was just a friend, inviting him to Thanksgiving as merely a friend. What she wasn't aware of was that I employed an investigator 6 weeks earlier. What Brendan didn't know was that I had contacted his wife and presented her with the evidence. Fiona's expressions ranged from denial, anger, and something resembling fear. You had no justification, I countered. I, as your husband, possess every right to be informed when you are infringing upon our marriage, and Gabrielle had every right to learn about her husband's actions while she single-handedly raised their children. Brendan retreated towards the door, but Gabrielle stepped forward to obstruct him. Her composure faltered, tears streaming down her face as she spoke. For 3 days in Chicago, you informed me. You bid our daughter farewell, promising deep dish pizza, and intended to celebrate Thanksgiving with her. Gabby, just let me clarify. Clarify the hotel receipts, the text messages, clarify why I've been working extra hours to meet our mortgage while spending money on extravagant dinners with another woman. Spencer, the 8-year-old, was weeping now. Mackenzie seemed petrified. Troy simply stared at you, betrayal etched across his face. My mother rose suddenly. Candace, take the children to the playroom immediately. My sister ushered all the kids, ours and Gabrielle's, out of the room. I could hear them asking questions as they departed, puzzled and afraid. The instant they were gone, Owen turned on his sister. Fiona, is this not false? She couldn't confirm. I stood there, my mouth agape, mascara trickling down my cheeks. Indeed, I responded when she stayed quiet. I've been gathering evidence for 4 months. I have a legal representative. I submitted divorce documents yesterday, which will be delivered on Monday. Fiona at last spoke up. This isn't right, she protested. You're embarrassing me in front of our entire family. No, I countered. You embarrassed yourself, you embarrassed our marriage, and you embarrassed me every time you lied about your whereabouts and companions. All I'm doing is making sure everyone knows the truth. Brendan attempted to leave again. Gabrielle held him back. Let go of his arm, she warned. You aren't allowed to leave. You can't abandon this conversation. What do you want from me? He demanded angrily. I retorted calmly. This is irrational. This feels like coercion or some sort of trap. It's Thanksgiving dinner. Your father, who had been quiet until then, spoke up sternly, using the tone he reserved for when you were in trouble as a teenager. I believe it's best for both of you to depart from here. He directed his gaze at Brendan and Fiona. Leave this house immediately. Fiona began to speak, but was cut off by him. I don't wish to listen today, not like this, he said, struggling with emotion. You have wronged Trevor by coming here for a family vacation, what you've done. He couldn't continue, instead shaking his head in dismay. Then Gabrielle turned to Fiona and asked, How old are you? In response, Fiona looked surprised. Gabrielle clarified, Because my eldest son is 11. I've been married to that man for 12 years. Fiona remained silent. I've been faithful, raising our children, constructing a life, Gabrielle continued. And didn't you know he was married? Fiona's silence implied acknowledgement. Leave, Gabrielle commanded, her voice cracking with emotion. Go away before I act on something I'll regret. They exited the house. Initially, Brendan hastened towards his vehicle. Fiona swiftly retrieved her purse and coat from the wardrobe, her makeup smudged, weeping profusely, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Owen endeavored to halt her at the doorway, attempting to speak, but she forcefully brushed past him. The front door echoed as it shut. Via the window, I observed Brendan's vehicle swiftly depart from our driveway. Fiona climbed into her own car and remained stationary for a considerable while before initiating movement and driving off. The house fell silent. The quiet was oppressive. Gabrielle collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. My mother positioned herself next to her, offering comfort with an arm around her shoulders. "I'm terribly sorry," Mom said. "I'm very, very sorry. I didn't know what else to do," Gabrielle replied hoarsely. I couldn't allow him to celebrate the holiday with her while I informed our children about his untimely demise. I couldn't let her believe she had prevailed. "You acted appropriately," my mother consoled her. "You did precisely the right thing," Owen approached me, expressing remorse. "I'm sorry I wasn't aware. Fiona, never would I have informed you if I'd known." The children eventually returned, looking bewildered and somber. We tried to explain as tactfully as possible that there had been an error, and some adults had made poor decisions that weren't their fault. Gabrielle hugged her 3 children tightly, offering comforting words. Despite the turmoil, we managed to have our Thanksgiving meal. It seemed unreal, serving mashed potatoes and green beans while the remnants of 2 marriages swirled around us like debris. But Gabrielle's kids needed routine. My nieces and nephew needed routine, so we provided it. As people began to leave around 7, Gabrielle pulled me aside. "What happens next?" "Now we hire lawyers and divide assets," I replied. "I already have legal representation." Wesley suggested some names for you if you need them. "I'll require all the information you possess, every piece of evidence. We should have it by tomorrow," she nodded, then unexpectedly embraced me. "Thank you for not allowing me to appear foolish, for not letting my children believe their father's lies were acceptable." I told her, "Your children should understand you have the resilience to confront reality. That was demonstrated today by you." Fiona called me 17 times that night. I didn't respond to any of them. Her messages varied from contrite to furious to pleading, but I remained silent. There wasn't anything more to communicate with her that wasn't better conveyed through legal channels. On Monday, divorce papers were served to her at work. My lawyer reported that she attempted to challenge them on the spot, alleging the Thanksgiving altercation was emotional abuse and duress. Upon seeing Wesley's evidence file, her attorney recommended she settle discreetly. The divorce lasted 4 months. She attempted to argue for a larger share because I had publicly embarrassed her. However, the judge wasn't swayed, particularly when they reviewed the timeline of her affair and the financial records showing she spent more than $8,000 from our joint savings on hotels and dinners with Brendan. I kept the house while she received her car and $401K. In the division of our remaining assets, I departed from my 9-year marriage with a newfound lucidity I had never experienced before. Contrastingly, Gabrielle's divorce was more tumultuous. Brendan contested for shared custody and accused her of estranging their children from him. Eventually, he was granted supervised visits every other weekend and was compelled to pay considerable child support. His real estate business suffered following the disclosure of his contentious divorce, as reputation is crucial in his profession. 6 months after Thanksgiving, Gabrielle contacted me. She informed me that Troy was thriving, and she wanted to share this news since I played a role in ensuring he still had a mother who could afford to stay within our school district. I responded to her message. "He deserved it," I replied. "You raised an admirable child," was my response. "We both managed to endure something grueling," she wrote back. "We should feel proud of that. I am indeed proud, not of the confrontation itself, as I don't find joy in the events that transpired that day, but I'm proud that I didn't succumb quietly to betrayal. I'm proud that I chose honesty over ease. Proud that Gabrielle's offspring witnessed their mother assert herself. Inquiries have been made regarding my remorse over the Thanksgiving ambush and whether I wish to manage it differently. The response is negative. Fiona had ample time, 4 months, to disclose the truth, as did Brendan, 12 years, to uphold his promises to Gabrielle. Neither opted for honesty, thus I did so on their behalf. At times, justice assumes the form of a courtroom, at other times an organized dossier, and sometimes it presents itself as a Thanksgiving dinner table adorned with 2 additional settings, one for truth and one for consequences. As I navigate new romantic relationships, I am taking things slowly and learning to trust again. The absence of Fiona leaves the house more peaceful and orderly. This year's Thanksgiving celebration is limited to family members who were honest and stayed put.